Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in our top stories today, in archive because of all the ads now that they're making us go through here on the New York Post, but nonetheless, from the New York Post, Facebook admits it wrongly censored iconic photo of bleeding Trump pumping his fist after assassination attempt. This was an error. Now, you know, if you follow the BuzWeaver channel, how often we outline and emphasize how the left and the establishment and Democrats will put out information to get a knee-jerk reaction, right? To plant a seed into people's minds about something, create that emotional response so that they remember that particular element of detail more so than when the truth eventually comes out. We saw that recently here. What a terrible display of that with FBI Director Christopher Wray. What an extraordinary and ridiculous statement, because we know how many times have you watched news and seen the media constantly hounding police officers and the authorities for information, and they always say, we cannot speculate. We cannot speculate. And yet here's Christopher Wray coming out, well, we're not really sure if Donald Trump got hit by a bullet. It could have been shrapnel. Well, I mean, if you're going to make that sort of an assumption, if you're going to make that sort of outline, right, to speculate, why not say aliens landed and shot him with a ray gun? I mean, yes, that's ridiculously absurd for me to say that last part, but you kind of get the idea. So Facebook acknowledged that it mistakenly, ladies and gentlemen, it mistakenly censored the iconic image of former President Donald Trump with his fist raised in the immediate aftermath of the July 13th assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. A post on Mark Zuckerberg's social media site by a user with the handle @EndWokeness that showed the Republican presidential candidate defiantly pumping his fist in the air while blood streams down his face and had initially been flagged as misinformation. Oh boy, how often do we hear that? Maybe Hunter's laptop, remember that? Or how about the fabricated Russian collusion story? So we can see right here in the framing, we can see here how the Establishment Uni-party does this and plays this ridiculous, absurd, despicable, agonizing game of getting that emotional response, putting out that knee-jerk reaction, just like these show trials we're seeing in New York. Absolutely coordinated in New York. These show trials, hush money, fraud case, absolutely all coordinated. They don't care about the rule of law. They don't care about justice. They want to make sure that no one votes for Donald Trump, all the way up to a point where their rhetoric could have led someone who was mentally unstable, could have incentivized someone filled with this, Trump is a danger to the establishment, of course, that being that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, as they like to say. So you would think that if this rhetoric continues, that some unstable person may try to take it upon themselves to take action so they can feel heroic, or look what I did to help out the cause for the Establishment Uni-party, right? The user was threatened with being deplatformed. However, on Monday, Danny Lever, a spokesperson for the social network's parent company, Meta, admitted the tech giant made a mistake. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, how many times do we make these videos and talk about these knee-jerk reactions? It's absolutely extraordinary. And here we have Zuckerberg calls Trump's response to shooting badass. So even in the interview he did here, seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face and pumping his fist in the air with the American flag is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life, the Meta Platform Incorporated chief executive officer said Thursday. So it's absolutely amazing how they play this word game back and forth, back and forth. It's absolutely extraordinary. And we know, going all the way back to May 9th of 2016, former Facebook workers, we routinely suppressed conservative news. Not surprising here if you're a member of the BuzWeaver, well, a subscriber to the BuzWeaver channel and other platforms that I have here. Of course, you can find all those below the video. We talk about this routinely. And we take the difficult, we take the confusion, we take the tumult, and we break it down into very simple terms, into very simple language that everyone can understand. We know that it's going on because it's here. We talk about it all the time. And, of course, my favorite line, Molly Ball from Time Magazine, the secret shadow campaign that saved the election of 2020. Absolutely amazing. And, of course, here we are. NPR, back in January 8, 2021, Twitter permanently suspends Trump citing risk of further incitement of violence. Now, do you think that constantly telling the public that Trump is a threat to democracy, that he's a threat to the heart and soul of our country, do you not think that that would make some sort of impression in the minds of maybe unstable people? We already know the left being remotely and mildly unstable. Now, imagine if they kept pumping that out, as they often do, because we see it often. Remember here, 𝐢𝐧𝐟𝐥𝐻𝐬𝐬, thanks. The biggest question is whether a tweet like this one this morning from Trump, which isn't a rule violation on its face, is being used as a coded incitement to further violence. So they ended up suspending Donald Trump based upon her understanding. Semantics, basically. Semantics is what got Donald Trump suspended, because she says, which isn't a rule violation on its face. It's absolutely extraordinary, is it not? And, of course, we have here from the Democrats call for violence against. Let's just listen to a little bit of this, just so you can get an idea.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
Oh, my.
Have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, an outline, a pattern, a process that they can follow. Anybody with some sort of mental disorder or mentally challenged in some way, and I'm not trying to be derisive. I'm simply saying, because we know, for example, that the shooter in Pennsylvania, may not have been very mentally stable. He could have been radicalized by this language that we're hearing. Now, of course, this didn't show any examples of the threat to democracy, but of course we hear that across the board now because it's constantly going on. And of course, also in line with that, of course, I left this New York Post without being archived, but yeah, because they wanted us to be able to turn off the ad blockers because obviously everybody's trying to make that extra coin. Google omits Trump assassination attempt from a key feature as Don Jr. claims big tech is trying to interfere in the election. So in other words, when you tried to look up, for example, if you started typing like presidential assassinations, and when you got to ASS, part of assassination, it would bring up other presidents, but not Donald Trump. And or if you looked up Donald Trump, it wouldn't populate his name. It would do Donald Duck and things like that. Now, I tested it, and it seems to be back to normal again. But like I said, unless this stuff is called out, unless this stuff is pointed out by individuals, it will continue. But I can see that the left is starting to lose. The establishment is starting to break apart. They're starting to fail, and they're getting desperate. I don't know how much more desperate they can get. I don't know how much more rhetoric they can put out to threaten Trump perhaps more than they already have now, because, of course, they have Kamala Harris there in their place. But it's absolutely extraordinary to me, is it not, ladies and gentlemen, the point, to the point that we're in right now. And, of course, I welcome all your thoughts and comments down in the public section. What are your particular thoughts and ideas about what's all going on? And what are your thoughts on 2024? Are you planning on voting? I sure hope that many of you are, those of you listening here in the States. And, of course, I want to thank all of you guys across New Tech as well as here on YouTube for your guys' continued support. And let me get it to at least a decent image here that you guys can look at. So I do appreciate everything you guys have done. Of course, below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to. You can follow me on those platforms. And, of course, if you are an Amazon Prime member or use or order from Amazon frequently, I have my links down below. All those things help out the channel. But, of course, your likes and shares all help out the channel, and it's all greatly appreciated. Appearing there on the screen, that will be the channel icon. You guys can click on to subscribe to the channel, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.